All right, everybody, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Data Mastery, Marketing for Modern Growth. My partner, Alvin Reyes, are here. We're partners at Data Accelerator, a data consulting business. Have a lot of exciting stuff to share. Hopefully we can pack it in like 20 minutes. But one of the things we wanted to focus on with this episode is testing with the data, scaling with the data, and then the ugly word that nobody likes to talk about is failing with the data. So what I like to tell clients up front is our data allows you to test and scale fastest because it allows you to fail faster than other people. And Alvin's going to go a little deeper into this, but really the idea is to allow the data to work, to give it some time. And as Alvin had just mentioned on our pre-conversation, to go slow and steady versus just trying to test with a large amount of money, say over a 1 or 2 day period. You want to spread it out over a longer period. You want to test multiple different variances. And I'll let Alvin jump in here in a second. But I guess first and foremost, let's kind of go case by case. We had one particular client who did literally just what I said, got the in-market data, literally spent a ton of money in like a 72-hour period, and then came back to us and said, oh guys, it doesn't work, right? Can you want to elaborate a little more on that, or kind of the pitfalls in that methodology?
Yeah, from what I recall, they're doing about like $600 a day. And once when they got the in-market data, they loaded up 10 in-market audiences at $600 a day each. And within 2 to 3 days, we noticed that they paused it. I go, why did you do that? He goes, oh, it's like we typically see purchases pretty quickly with our testing. I was like, well, did you even test all the other data? Which they didn't, because typically when you do have a seed audiences, you could do 10 lookalikes from that. So typically we have about 10 groups that we give to clients, and out of that, you could produce about 100 plus lookalikes off of that with each seed. So we recommended to this client, like, hey, can you test a little bit slower, where instead of doing $600 a day, can you break it down to like $50 a day per lookalike variant? And they like that idea a lot better. And I go, why do you recommend that? It's because, not everyone is going to be on social media every single day looking for your offer. It's best to just go slow and steady. If you have like a 10-day, 25-day buying cycle, like, you need to have your ad in front of these audiences every single day. And then for this one particular client where, they're kind of like treating it like an ecom, which I don't think is the right idea when you're coming to data, when you're testing data. It's just best to just test a small budget. And once when you do find a winning ad set or an end market where it's consistently generating purchases within your KPI, and you're getting like 10 to 15, 20 purchases, now you have the green light to scale it, or scale it horizontally or vertically, whatever you want, break it out. But the whole point of that is like, we need time to test this data. I mean, yeah, you could test the data really quickly with large budget, but like, you're going to be setting yourself up for a disappointment.
Yeah, it's almost like, to visualize it, it's almost like instead of just like literally going down one lane in the highway, it's like go use all of the different lanes. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but it's, take the data and create that spider web effect and reach as many people as fast as possible, instead of trying to narrow down and just, go, hit the nail on the head the first time. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, our data is incredible, but people also think it's like this linchpin that they're just going to insert the data and everything, all the other problems in the funnel, conversion rate optimizations, everything else is just going to fall in line, where it's like the data adds a lot of intent to the funnel. That's the point, is to add multiple layers of intent, but it's not going to cure a bad converting landing page or mismanagement of, ad funds and things like that. Another thing that I know you had mentioned this, and I know we had another client that did this, but just to clarify for anybody listening that doesn't know, LAL, or lookalike audiences, is a way within the digital ad platforms that we can insert data. So let's just say we have 100,000 people searching for roofs or roofing contractors or something like that online. 100,000 people is not a large enough seed audience for Facebook to run, say, even a national or regional campaign. So we give Facebook that data, and then Facebook goes finds people that looks just like them, what we call lookalike audiences, and we test everywhere from a 1 to a 10% variance. This is also very helpful when we have, say, 100,000 people on a national level looking for roofing, but our roofing contractor is only within a 50-mile radius, say like in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we can take those 100,000 people on a national level, insert them into the ad campaigns, and then geographically restrict it. So Facebook has a ton. It's basically just giving Facebook a ton of intent so they know who we're looking for. Facebook doesn't have to go guess, or their algorithm doesn't have to go guess and generate leads, and these leads were bad, these leads were good, blah, blah, blah. They already know who we're looking for because we're giving them that client profile that they can go mimic and plug into their algorithm and expedite that failing process so we can find the winners and scale them a lot quicker.
Another good thing too, right, where somebody asks us, like, hey, what makes your pixel better than the Facebook pixel? And Shaw, one of our senior media buyers, mentioned this, where it's a good point. Our pixel is able to identify up to 60% of the traffic of a client's website, right? Well, what about the 30 to 40% that you can identify? And he said that 30 to 40% or even higher are likely bots. And we don't track bots. We don't identify bots. So when your Facebook pixel's on there and the AI is grabbing the bot traffic, the bot data, it's finding lookalikes of more bots to feed your ads and get more bot traffic to your site. So
Gotcha. But because of our verification process and pinging the emails off our internal ESP,
yes.
19 validation points of our data,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have any bots. Or if a bot does
Yes.
happen to come in, that it's not validated and the client
Mm-hmm.
never sees that, Facebook never sees that, and it's never pushed through. And
Yes.
then and in that case too, I mean, I don't want to go, we don't have to go too deep into the segmentation, but it's like not
Mm-hmm.
only does our pixel remove the bots, but our pixel allows you to identify what people you want to retarget. So if
Mm-hmm.
we're capturing 10,000 people and you're like, hey, my product's for homeowners and I need somebody that's making over 75,000 a year, well, let's skim off the best of those 10,000. It might only be 1,000 or 1,500,
Yeah.
but let's go take that cream right off the top and go retarget that seed audience or create lookalikes based off that. And you can't get customized and do all that with Facebook or Google's pixel because they don't let you see and touch the data. All you can
Exactly.
do is pump more money back into their piggy bank and to retarget the clients, but you're kind of going blind at it. You don't even know who you can retarget. Think about the one B2B client. Remember the one client where he was like, oh, my SEO company's the greatest. I'm getting 20,000 clicks, blah, blah, blah. And we throw our pixel on the site. 2 weeks into it, they had 10,000 traffic. We deliver them like 5,000 or 6,000 visitors. And the guy Mike messages back like, holy crap, like there's literally 20 people out of that 6,000 that were our ideal client. And,
Yeah.
it's a B2B play. So they weren't expecting 50% to be their ideal client, but they were sure expecting a lot more than 0.5% of their ad traffic to actually fit in that box and be their ideal client. But without our pixel, without seeing the data and analyzing it, they would have never known that, right?
Yeah. So I came from an IT world for about 20 years, and it's called black box testing, right? Like you don't know what you're looking at. It's like you're blind. With white box testing, we could clearly see. We could identify, who your
I've actually
visitors.
never heard of those terms. Those are
Yeah,
good.
black box testing, white box testing. So white box is like, hey, these are the requirements. We know what we see. These are the parameters. We see all the value that Facebook and Google doesn't show you, obviously. But if you know your visitors are coming in and you know they're making 75,000 and above, like why can't we just cherry pick that little segment of people and then do lookalikes of those and see how that pans out with testing? So again, like the whole point of like 30 to 40% how can you identify is because we don't give you bot traffic, we don't give you bot data, and we're feeding real humans back into the Facebook audience, real people with better data that makes your AI even stronger, your lookalikes even stronger.
And I know we keep mentioning Facebook because that's, one of the
Mm,
most predominantly used ad platforms,
right.
but it's just replace Facebook with Google, with TikTok, with demand side platforms, with
Yes.
CTV ads. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a laundry list of things we can do with the data.
Yep.
Um, Talk about, so lookalike audiences. I know the one client only so this client basically, to fill everybody in, she came to us and she was adamant about not testing anything above a 1% lookalike variance because in the past, which who knows if that was 6 months ago or 60 years ago, but in the past it didn't work, and they're running into issues, right? Because Facebook doesn't have a large enough pool to play in, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so she's dealing with personal attributes. So obviously she can't really target that specific disease or um, that attribute on Facebook because it's restricted. So she has to go a lot broader with the interests, which kind of like, you're gonna get mixed traffic to your site. And if we're resolving identities off your first party data, we're resolving mixed traffic. So one thing we told her, hey, we've had clients who are testing the first party data from 1 to 10%, and they've with time, specifically with time, we actually got all 10% lookalikes to work, right? So when she mentioned how like, oh yeah, the 1% look like I'm not going to do anything past that because it didn't work for me. Well, I'm telling her, well, we've had other clients where we got it to work, and then like so she opened up. We're gonna talk to her again. So I'm gonna say, hey, this is our last chance to try to prove something. Let's just take our recommendations, put a smaller budget, so that way you're not gonna be, burning money with your tests, and like let's just do $25, $50 a day, and let's spread it out a little bit more and just see what happens. If it doesn't do well, then like at least we tried it, we tested, we failed on it, but at least now like, well, what if we get it to work? And what if we did get it to work where it's generating you a better ROI? And like, imagine if you just quit too soon, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, as you go higher in the variances, you're giving Facebook a bigger pool to play in. So if you have
Right.
like a 100,000 seed audience and you do a 1% variance, now that might give Facebook like 1 million to 1,000,005 people to serve ads to, and then your 10% variance might be like a 10 million pool to play in, right? It kind of
Right.
it scales up from there, the larger the variance, and it gives Facebook just more people, more options to deliver their ad to and get the algorithm to click with. And that's why we want to do a 1 to 10% variance, because we don't know it's going to work. I mean, you
Right.
say sometimes all 10 works, but let's be honest, realistically, we're literally looking a 1 through 10% variance. We're looking for like 2 or 3 winners so we
Hmm.
can shut off losers and scale the winners, right?
Yeah.
We
I mean,
don't
like,
need, we literally just need 1 or 2 to work, right? We don't need
right.
all 10 to work. We just don't
Right.
know which one's going to work up front.
Right. So that's why we throw, again, I like to go fishing with my family. So if we have 10 fishing rods, we have our bait in 10 different spots of the pond or the ocean where we're
Or in
fishing
this
in an
case,
audience.
it's almost like 10 freaking different ponds, right?
Yes, 10 different ponds. And not only that, we're in a separate auction with other people, right? With your own first party data, which is like, hey, they clicked on your ad, your offer, your brand, they've been to your landing page, to your funnel, they know about what your services, your product. Well, that's the right pond you want to be in. But again, you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot when if you're only just doing 1% lookalike and that's it. It's either I'm dead or not.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Um, Awesome. We're approaching about 15 minutes here, or a little over 13. I think this was good information. I mean, and we're obviously not, trying to solve any major problems on these episodes. We're just trying to kind of shed light to things, open people's eyes, see what's out there, and hopefully try to educate a little bit. So maybe you are sitting on that data list. If it's not coming from us, you just purchased a data list from somebody, or you have some data past clients' data list that you're trying to work with. Don't be afraid to expand those lookalike audiences past, say that 1 or 2% variance, knowing that us guys that are, data consultants and doing this every day are consistently testing up to a 1 through 10% variance. So don't be afraid to expand, give Facebook a little bit more room to play with, still using that seed data so it's not complete open targeting.
Yep. Yeah, it's just again, a lot of these people, clients, where they have good first party data, we can make their first party data even better with the in market data using Google keywords. So that way you don't have to use the default interests from coming from Facebook, where, hey, I want to find people that are, they want mushroom coffee, or maybe they have an ailment with like stem cells, right? You're not going to find that type of interest on Facebook, but we could help you find them.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to insert the intent that Facebook
Yes.
basically has taken away over the years and restricted from us. We're layering that back in, that Google PPC intent-based audiences, fed back into Facebook. And then I just wanted to pull this up real quick. Where's share screen? Just to give people an idea, this is everywhere that we can share the data. Or stream the data. So Google, YouTube obviously are the same, Facebook and Instagram's Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok, demand side platforms. So that's everywhere outside of social media. And then also we can send the data. I mean, depending on the ad spend budget, we can even show commercials on Netflix now or Amazon in these places. So somebody's bouncing off. I mean, we do this in the addiction treatment space. You know, somebody's bouncing off our client site today. Within 24 hours or less, they're on their favorite streaming TV platform, you know, seeing a 30-second non-skippable commercial of a video testimonial of somebody, of multiple people that just left the treatment center, or, you know, the person's wife who, you know, got their husband back after 30 days of treatment at XYZ recovery center. Like, that's some powerful stuff that resonates with people. And they're obviously not going to walk up and click on their TV, but guess what? Later on that evening or the next day, when they see that Facebook ad or that Instagram ad that ties it all together, and they're on what I would refer to as like a comfort platform where they're comfortable giving their information and clicking on, then that's where we convert them. But yeah, all kinds of cool stuff we can do with it. And then emails, you know, phone calls on a B2B play. I need to take text messages off here because I definitely don't recommend text messaging without explicit opt-ins. But LinkedIn, ultra segmentation, it's lots of cool stuff we can do with it.
Yep.
All right, let's wrap it up. We'll talk to everybody soon. I really appreciate your time listening to this, and can't wait to do it again soon. Take care, everybody.
See ya.